So I have this thing all square, but if you see how these wheels come together, they're off center by, well, quite a fucking bit. I had to take this part off, which is the little spring doodad that holds the cup down, which I don't really care about right now. What I care about is when I put a cup on there, it rolls either that way or this way, depending on the direction. And that's because these wheels are way off. Now this little part of the gantry thing was also not square. I squared that up, which now seems to have made the whole fucking thing worse. But it seems like this distance and this distance over yonder are the same. Looking down at it, I don't see anything messed up. So I moved it over to here to where you can see it's kind of lined up here and running pretty straight. And it looks like this piece here, whatever it's called, doesn't seem to be out of alignment in any way, shape, or form. Very hard to tell. So I'm thinking we're pretty good that way. Yeah, looks like it, you know, when you do it that way. So it's just these wheels are drilled not proper, and I don't know how to adjust for that without tearing something all the way apart. I could maybe take this thing up and move it over, because there's two screws down here that go into the frame, and I could elongate them a little bit and move it that way, I guess. So you can see that wheel is just like crazy, and this wheel's kind of hiding back there. But hey, it's the VEVOR brand. The bearings and the wheels all seem real nice. These are nice. They turn. They don't seem to wobble when I turn them. And even these are nice and have super nice bearings. So to save $100 or more dollars, I'm thinking it's worth my time to figure this little problem out. A lot of people would say, well, yeah, but if you bought the VEVOR or any one of these other type A rollers, you know, you wouldn't have that problem. It's like, well, probably not. But I would have paid over $100 more. And my time is valuable, but for a hobby, it's not that valuable. I mean, I can spend an hour fiddle fucking around with it and save $100. Now I've seen these Type A's a little cheaper than the brand name ones, but then I might be stuck with this same thing here. You know, so I'm not going to bash VEVOR or whatever it is, but I am going to say it's a problem. I'll just say that and leave it at that. So let me find the box here. Well, there's not much in it that says who makes it. Here's the directions. Well, it was Amazon. I thought it was VEVOR, but maybe not. But either way, it's $99, and it's got a nice motor on it. Of course, I haven't plugged it in to see if it even works. And it, like I say, it rolls real nice and it adjusts real nice. I'm just trying to figure out how to move this thing that way, or if I should move this thing this way. I'm not sure. I'm thinking this is the least of my problems, to just scoot that whole thing over, because it's all one unit held by just the 2 screws down there, as opposed to this being only movable because I would have to drill a lot of holes and shift it. Maybe I could, no, because I'd still have to shift this. I could drill 2 holes down here and move it that way. But I think all in all, for precision's sake, I could elongate those 2 holes and be in good shape. All right, well, I'll let you know how it goes. All right, so this is how I rectified this problem. I put this in my drill bit, or drill press, and then I just drilled a couple holes and then routed it out real good, and then I moved it over and did it again, and apparently it looks pretty good, I think. Nice place for it. All right, so seems to have a slight little bit of a smile to it. I guess if I look at it correctly, I can get that. Maybe you can see it. They're not perfect, but I think it'll work for what I'm doing, because I don't need to move it over that far, and if it goes up and down a little bit, it's not going to change the dynamics of how this thing operates. So that's what I did. I would have recorded it all, but I didn't have time to figure that out and get my phone and camera set up. But there you have it. I just drilled I marked where I wanted it, how far, put a hole on each side back and forth so I could go back and forth, and then I routed it out, basically, because I didn't have a router with that size bit. All right, so I think if I can get that to focus, you can see those are the sliding adjustments I made in it, which now hold the cup perfectly in the center. I wasn't able to turn this thing and keep it from, running into the side, because it was tracking wrong. See now, so maybe if I do it this way. Now, I haven't put my little clip on there yet, and it's actually kind of hard to turn these without wobbling things around, but I think now it can make a full turn and not run into it. So that's fine, because it used to set kind of cattywampus and then it would just roll off of the thing. So now I got it adjusted. Where you can see now it's actually correct. So when you're standing in the right place with your lens, you can tell it's just lined up perfectly. So there you have it. A Type A rotary attachment for VEVOR or VEVOR laser, and I got it lined up. It was, like I said, it was right at $100 on Amazon. It was whatever brand it was, Billy Bob's Generic or something like that. Here's what the manual looked like. I don't know if it was VEVOR or VEVOR or whatever they call it, but it was definitely $100. It had an alignment issue. Took me maybe an hour to figure out what I could adjust on there without throwing the geometry off. And it came down to putting those slots in that screw there so I could adjust the slide drive motor left and right to get those lined up. Because if I had tried to adjust anything on this end, that would have took a lot of drilling and everything and guesstimating. So this was the easiest adjustment because it doesn't throw anything off. And I noticed that the motor had the same adjustments for up and down. So I was like, well, side to side shouldn't throw anything off either. So it worked out. Like I said, it took maybe an hour to set up the drill press to where I could drill extra holes really close and then slide it back and forth to get it grooved out. Yes, a milling machine would kick ass, but I don't have one. And the drill, and I don't have any milling bits that I could have put on the drill press, and I didn't have any router bits that were 5/16, or I think it was 5/16 or 5/32, whatever size that hole was. So it worked out all in all pretty good deal. And like I say, the time was nothing, as far as dollars. So some of these other ones that are probably made a little bit better and line up properly are, over $100, easily $200 to $300 that I've seen. And this one should work just fine also. It was actually made to really tight tolerances. I guess they just got their tolerances off on that one thing or something. Somewhere they didn't put something together right. But hey, it is now. So if you have one of these things and you're having alignment issues with what I was showing you, rather than send it back and then dick around for 2-3 days and then get another one that may be just as screwed up, because I didn't see anything put together wrong, then you could just drill it out or mill it out a little bit. I went maybe 1/8 inch on each side back and forth, and it went together perfectly, and you really can't tell by looking at it that it's not centered, as far as the motor is. So anyway, hope that helped. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.